What a day to praise the Lord. Praise Him. Praise Him. Praise Him. I got a little headache here, but I'm rebuking that. How's you guys doing? How are you guys doing? I can get my tongue out of my mouth properly. We're gonna do some talking about a few things. One thing is how good our Father is. I just had to say that. Just had to put it out there. He is so good. He's so good to us. He's kept me. He's strengthened me. He's helped me to endure. He's brought me through some really trying times in my life. And I just owe him a big thank you. Thank you for all that he's done for me. Before we go on, I want to share something. One of the things that changed my life was, of course, scripture changed my life. But I talked about this the other day, the fact that I believed the scriptures and how they worked, and I was living such a sinful life. And so I want to put this out here. Psalm 64. Hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me not from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of God. For they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord and shall trust in him. And all the upright in heart shall glory. Amen, amen. So let me ask you guys something. If New Year's brings together a bunch of people, in New York, over on the Eastern Seaboard, and over into Paris, and they were to plan an event for a day and a time like that, it would be pretty ingenious, wouldn't it? Especially if it were a plan to use weather as a weapon. It's an interesting thought, right? So I want to share a couple things with you guys today because I spent 5 hours. If you guys want to, you can check it out yourself, but I spent 5 hours today searching, actually 6, searching the telegraphs. And I did a live stream of it on a channel that I don't really have subscribers to because I got up this morning and I was like, all right, well, I knew that I was going to need to set sail to finish this project that I started. And I had felt like, I've kind of come to a halt. Like I know them and I know what they're into. And I've already pointed out that I see their telegraph. We already have their entire structure and it's still in the cryptic form. So, what more can I put out there? And over the course of time, I began to realize, you know what, guys, I don't know everything. I can't retain everything. So the Father, I hear the Holy Spirit say, record today. Just record where you're at. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead and record. So I spent 5 hours recording, thankfully to the girls that were with me, because there was one of the young ladies, she actually helped me tremendously. The Holy Spirit had told me that would happen. He said, there's going to be one young lady's going to help you. The young ladies are going to help you. So I said, okay. So I shared it with the ladies. All right. Anyways, and we've come to see that there is a date they are pointing to. Now, I don't know the day and the hour anything's happening, and the only one that's in control is God Most High. All right. And I know that some of the dates I've put out there, they've been spiritual in their connotations. So, and I thought, because I'm seeing the telegraph, I'm like, oh my gosh, the telegraphs went out. That's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And it was a telegraph for something different in a different region. This, I believe, is perfect timing because we have this entity that's out in the Indian Ocean right now. Okay. And this is what they're aiming to go down. We have a list of locations in which would appear that would be a part of the telegraph structure in a sequence. So we would see some events happening prior, like some earthquakes and whatnot in those areas that would give us some indication that this was going to happen. So that's what I want to talk about. We're going to cover some other things too. So let me share my screen here. I want to know that you guys can hear me though, and that I'm not with a double voice because we know my device likes to play funny with me. And it's 7:04, so we're going to spend about 45 minutes on tonight. I won't get all long-winded. I want to tell you guys, I'm not a teacher, so I found it really hard trying to explain this to you. And that's why, I even was on 5 hours ago. I don't even know any other way to explain this to people. You can watch the 5-hour video. I'll leave a link to it later on after the live. I'll leave it in the comment section where you can go and look at it, and it will give you, a clue of how I work this. I want to start with this one, though. How the NYPD will keep people safe during iconic Times Square New Year's Eve celebration. This was posted on December 28th at salive.com. It's by Irene Spesamonte. Staten Island, New York. The NYPD is gearing up to keep about 1 million people safe when they gather in Times Square next week to celebrate the beginning of a new decade. Oh, well, hold on. I'm seeing this did it? Yes, it did. Are we able to be heard and everything? I have so many computer problems. I don't want to screw up. 2 seconds here. All right. Hey. Awesome. Stony Stone. Good to have you. Michael Hargrove. Chirping Bird. Oh, it's good. I have the worst timing, Chirping Bird. I know that one. All right. Darlene is awesome. Her and I was just we just did a long live. She hung in with me for quite some time, and she actually helped me come to a conclusion on something. So, all right, we're going to talk about this. Staten Island, New York. So, like I said, the NYPD is gearing up to keep about 1 million people safe when they gather in the Times Square next week, which is actually tomorrow, to celebrate the beginning of a new decade. The experience of ringing in the new year in New York City is remarkable, and I commend the thousands of members of the NYPD for their own remarkable undertaking in ensuring the safety of those celebrating, said Police Commissioner Response Command, Emergency Service Unit, Strategic Response Group, Technical Assistance and Response Unit, the K-9 teams, the Mounted Unit, Aviation Unit, and the Harbor Unit. Officers will screen all visitors. Backpacks, large bags, umbrellas, and alcoholic beverages are prohibited. Starting at around 11 a.m. Tuesday, police officers will redirect celebrators to the different viewing pens prepared for the event. So these guys are preparing to keep people safe in case, any awesome Stony Stone. She's I've gotten to know her on the web, and she's just awesome. She gonna join us tonight? That would be nice. But she was with me for quite some time today. So anyways, okay, so check this out, guys. They're gonna, they're talking about keeping, let me just look at you. They're talking about keeping New York safe. And like I was telling you, New York is possibly, it's on the eastern seaboard. We know this. And if the Canary Islands were to blow and as part of the eastern seaboard would then be underwater. Okay. This is a hypothesis that I pulled because of Don Fum's Mysterious Directions. It paints this picture that there's going to be a carrier in the Indian Ocean that will sustain a negative impact. The negative impact will completely wipe out an entire vessel. So, what could make that happen? Could it be a missile, a nuke? Could it be some directed energy weapon? These were all ideas that I was running through my head. And then I found out no, none of the above. It gets better. Talking about totally wild, I want to share this with you guys. Um, Matter of fact, let me pull it up. See, we know that it is quite possible that, well, we know the ring of fire is going off. Let's just put that out there. We know the ring of fire is going off. But we also know that if the Helena slump fell into the ocean, it's possible that, a 300-foot tidal wave can come through. Same thing for the eastern seaboard with the Canary Islands. Okay. According to James Copernicus, a mega tsunami could wipe out the east coast of the United States. And I'd like to show you this picture. This is actually one that we find all over the movies. My bad. I don't know why it switches off like that, but all right, there we go. That should be all right now. Okay, so this mega tsunami, this picture here, that could wipe out the East Coast, this looks also familiar because these are pictures that we see in X-Men Apocalypse. There's a couple of apocalyptic movies that show the Statue of Liberty going down. But what's more interesting about this is actually prophetic. We are told in prophecy that all nations will mourn America. So we know that, and it says Mystery Babylon, they will all, the merchants by the sea, they'll all be wiped out. So let's read what this guy has to say. There's actually a couple of these. This was posted on December 9th, 2011. As winter sun holiday designations go, the Canary Islands are one of the more well-known places in the world for sun worshippers and gray sky dwelling Northern Europeans to head south to for the winter. What is less well known is the impact that the island's volcanic past have in store for the east coast of the U.S. if volcanologists and oceanographers' predictions of a mega tsunami are realized. I want to step in here and say that these are not major predictions of volcanologists and oceanographers. These are them telling you what was planned. All right? These guys are bought and paid for. The science is fictitious behind it. And I don't want to talk too much about that. These guys were instituted with very educated people, They have come from backgrounds that are admirable. So most people, when they come into the presence of these guys, it's like, let me shake your hand. You've got some great accomplishments. But the truth be told, that just like the NASA, the whole Challenger crew that supposedly died, in a blowing up rocket, are all still alive, guys. They were bought and paid for. And so I'm saying this because I've been dealing with plans of the elite for quite some time. I got about 19 years ago, I started going into conspiracy theories. And I was hearing a lot of different conspiracy theories. And one of the most wild conspiracy theories that I've ever heard was an alien invasion was planned for the world. And it was going to be staged. Well, I also was saved 19 years ago. I was redeemed. and I lived a life that was contrary to the word. But I learned a lot in that time. And there was a lot of criminal things that I had learned how to talk. How do you order drugs on the phone without people knowing that you're ordering drugs? So that's just one of the little life skills that I ended up learning. And I'm not speaking on this proudly. I'm speaking on this because it is very important to understand where I'm going with this. In the long run, I come to find out that, hey, I guess when you do have a rapture, when you have the church being called together, 12 tribes of Israel being called together and pulled out, it's going to look like an alien invasion. When you have people who turn into ministers of flaming fire, that's going to look like an alien invasion. And it may be easy to divert and say, oh, that was completely planned out. It has been, because truth be told, it's biblical. So what I'm pointing out here is basically the prince of the power of the air's plans, and the fact that he has minions, he has a crew. He has people that work for him. Those people belong to alphabet agencies and have taken high dollars to serve the beast. I know this rhetoric sounds a little far-fetched. You're not used to hearing it. You're definitely not going to turn on your mainstream news and hear this. However, it's important. This guy says over the last few weeks, a rumbling volcanic eruption and earthquakes in the seas around the island of El Hierro in the Canaries have reignited the debate on the mega tsunami predicted to hit the eastern seaboard of the U.S. The debate centers on a theory that focuses on a tsunami being caused after a large chunk of volcanic rock falls into the sea from the Cumbre Vieja volcano on the island of La Palma. I've been putting in locations here. One of those is the island of La Palma. These different locations that are actually included in the map are places that are all going to experience a negative impact. What sort of negative impact just depends on future telegraphs. Okay, plans are continuously changing. Oh, wow, somehow my whole map has been disappeared. All right, looks like I got to redo that one. I was going to screenshot that, but that doesn't appear to be needed now. All right, so let's go back into that. Forgive me. So all the locations, though, that were on the map are, let me get this right, guys. So, all right, all the locations that were on the map, I've actually listed on the blog. They included Cumbre Vieja volcano of La Palma. It includes the Anak Krakatau, the White volcano in New Zealand, which I believe we're actually going to see some more activity out of maybe within the next 24 hours. There's also some volcanic activity projected to come out of Eastern Africa, and it will affect the UK and the United States. The entire coastal cities are all going to experience a negative effect. If the Canaries actually, I read another study, if the Canaries actually fall off, they talk about it could be a 3,000 mile high tsunami that could come through. 3,000 miles high. Well, the USS Carrier that I was talking about, the AL, if that were to happen while it's in the Indian Ocean, that would take it out completely and would be a great reason why they say forget the Navy. Don Bum's mysterious directions gave us specific attributes that we would know would come to pass, such as the Amazonias being on fire, parts of Brazil, parts of Argentina. There was a follow the fire science attribute that started in November of 2016, just around the time our president was elected. Now, those fires increased, and by December and January of 2017, it was the worst fires in history. He then had visited California, Paradise, because Paradise had burnt down. And he made a speech, and he accidentally called paradise pleasure, which ironically was a line out of Back to the Future. Kind of odd. And those fires, though, denoted when this plan was going to, finalize itself. And the biggest aspect of the plan was free the nukes. It's forget the Navy, fun time Navy, free the nukes. And they planned on nuking multiple places in America. Well, I don't know. We're going to look at this in just a little bit. Matter of fact, I'll just take it to you now. Putin invites Trump to Moscow for them to come together and bring a message of, celebration because the war was over. This celebration is set for May 2020. Well, I thought about this. I thought, what kind of guys? This is horrible. These guys have an interoperability. They're working together. We do not have enemies. All right. These two guys are Freemason buddies. They're working together to achieve the same nefarious goal. And hey, I can't hate on him. I pray for our president because he is our president. And you shouldn't talk out against leaders. If you're living right, you wouldn't have to worry about whether or not you're going to die or not. That's how I feel, But so President Trump and him have this agreement where they're working together, and they've already made a plan to get together and celebrate the finalization of this plan. The time frame in which this plan could have happened was November all the way up until April. And the reason why I say April was because in April, Trump Towers had set on fire. Don Fum's Mysterious Directions. I've done videos over this. I'm not going to go back over it again tonight because that'll just add too much time. But it tells us that it would have ended by April. So at this point, they had already planned on getting together. If this page will move, they had already planned on getting together in May after this had happened to celebrate it, which is pretty sick when you think about it. So these guys, both presidents, committed to continuing counterterrorism cooperation between the two countries. So there's already a cooperation pact that they have going on. The White House issued a readout of the calls placed that they say, well, I'll just go back and read it. Forgive me. Putin's well wishes and invitation come after the Kremlin on Sunday released a separate readout of a phone call between Trump and Putin in which the two discussed matters of mutual interest and reached an agreement to continue bilateral cooperation in the fight against terrorism. The Kremlin provided statement of the call, initiated by Russia and the first between Putin and Trump since July, said that Vladimir Putin thanked Donald Trump for the information shared via the special services that helped prevent terrorist acts in Russia. So they've already been working together. All right. Now, this is very important to understand. Two Russian nationals, though, were detained Friday based on information provided by the U.S., according to a statement issued by the Federal Security Service of Russia that intended to carry out terrorist attacks in St. Petersburg on the New Year's Eve. This is so important, guys. St. Petersburg on New Year's Eve. I didn't pull this up. I have a bad habit of doing that. Give me one moment to pull something up and share with you guys. I have a bad habit of not pulling pages up that I need to pull prior. Excuse me. In the book, When He Left Castle Trump, Marvelous Underground Journey of Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger, when he left Castle Trump, it was in the middle of February, and they left St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg. Now, this also comes out of Russia as well after, which is a part of a signal. the book itself talks about what's called Don Fum's mysterious direction. Don Fum is muff nod, which is maximum usable frequency and notice of disposition, along with a few other things. But that is the top, meaning of what Don Fum is. Maximum usable frequency. So there's signals that are going out, and these signals are numerical signals. They're also picture signals. They're put together in a variety of ways, but across many platforms. And you cannot just get the signal from one place. You get a signal, and then you have to find additional signal that matches that signal. Then you have to find an additional signal that matches that signal and that signal. You get what I'm saying? There's all these components in order to understand, what signal is what and what it is applicable to, whether it's international organ harvesting, whether it's child trafficking, industrial terrorism, biowarfare, all those things like that. Oh, hold on. It's black, has been pretty much the whole time you've been. The only thing we can see is when your screen of view is on. Okay. Try this again. See if this works. Tell me if this changes. Can you see this? Hopefully you guys got this now. I don't know why this thing wants to act funny. You got it? Still black.
Putin. Tonight, the Russian president making an apparent new diplomatic push with President Trump. In a phone call over the weekend, Vladimir Putin again inviting...
All right, looks like I'll just bring myself back on. Fixed, okay, fixed, good. All right, there we go, perfect. Okay, so right here, it was about the middle of February when I set out from Castle Trump, and I journeyed night and day in order to reach Petersburg by the 1st of March, for I knew that the government trains would leave that city for the White Sea during the first week of that month. Okay, this is out of the book, The Marvelous Underground Journey of Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger. It says, according to the learned Don Fum's manuscript, the portals to the world within a war were situated somewhere in northern Russia. The whole plan, Don Fum's manuscript was a cipher. It took a one-time tape to crack it, and I don't have the one-time tape. So everything that we have was just really a Holy Spirit teaching and showing me how to connect the dots. So that's what I did, was connected these dots. And what we find here we'll go back to this other one in just a second, but let's go back to something that happened some time back when they were telegraphing a portion of this text. In the cipher, it says first stage and then folk song. Oh. Good Lord. I want to cough. I'll read it to you too, so you guys know what it says. And my friend Boba arrived on an airplane. Not with empty bomb. and the crew of the submarine with an atomic motor started to sing a happy song.
For America's help in thwarting a terrorist
Hold on. Something else has started.
How many people write songs like this for ups?
Something has started, guys. Hold on. I know what it is.
Absolutely.
CNN always does this to me.
They started to sing a happy song after they had an atomic bomb. I mean, a little strange. Then when you add to the mix, I'm just going to show you something really quick. The song came out of St. Petersburg. Just like it says right here.
There's a time.
February when it set out from Castle Trump.
Also right there.
Journeyed night and day in order to reach Petersburg by the 1st of March.
What was
Right,
that?
knew that the government trains would
45?
leave that city for the White Sea during the first week of that month.
Okay.
So the marvelous underground journey of Baron Trump, where I took the cryptic information out of.
Let's find. All right. Here we are. This is tired toys are sleeping, niggers are sleeping. That's horrible. Excuse my French. Sorry, America. Good America. But they made a mistake discovering you 500 years ago. I can do everything for 3 rubles. Burn the land into pieces, the enemy land. I can do everything for 3 rubles. Burn the land into pieces, the enemy land.
This is supposed to be. And look.
I can't help but laugh. So they were singing Burn America Burn. Sorry, niggers are sleeping. Who's seriously? You can't even make this stuff up. Here's another one.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? So check it out.
Let's find
we have
it.
here what is at ciphertext.blogspot.com.
Excuse me.
This is just a cipher. And so I took a couple screenshots of the cipher so we could take a peek at.
Right at the end of this, I believe it is the end, they were also saying they burnt the American flag. I gotta find it. Now, this is also listed on the blog. I think it's right here. If it's not, we'll skip over and you guys can look at it, and I'll leave you the link below. Yeah, it's not coming up so quick. I don't want to be here forever. Okay, there we go. So I left that link where you guys can just find it yourself. All right. Because going through this, I mean, we'll just take a look at this.
This is Abraham Lincoln. And then watch his hand gestures, okay? They've got the candles, the golden candles right here. This is a Masonic thing. And then
what you're going to see in this video is not only do they say burn, America burn, but they also rip up the flag in another one. They're talking about America's going to burn. That's coming out of Iran, I believe, or Iraq, one of them. And then this one here, he's in the AL room talking about this is the calm before the storm. A lot of people believe that, he doesn't know about this stuff, that, he's in on it. Guys, we're supposed to respect our leaders, definitely supposed to be praying for our leaders. They were put in place by our Father, but let's just be realistic. He is who he is, and he's one of them, issued, out to basically recompense the people, essentially, because what they have in store for us is pretty sketchy, when you say the least. And it's tied to this mega tsunami. I followed the telegraph. Every time I try to explain it, I end up going off somewhere else. So it's just like, I'm done trying to explain it. I'm just going to tell people like it is. And, I do study on another channel. If somebody wants to understand how to read it, hey, go to the other channel. I'll leave the link. You can go through it, see how I've learned how to look and read these guys, and you can share the information. It's on my blog. The information is yours. It's free to have. Use it. It's their whole system. Part of the volcano is highly unstable and could collapse into the ocean at any time. If this were to happen, 20,000 cubic meters of rock could fall into open sea water and channeled by the seabed geology, create a mega wave tsunami traveling at 500 miles per hour in all directions. So we see a little, here is, excuse me, Canary Islands. This would travel in each and every direction. It would hit here within, it says, look, 6 hours. So you'd only have about 6 hours time to get out from, say, Florida. But it would also hit Brazil, the coastal areas of Brazil. It would also go backwards in a sense and hit all of the coastal cities here. So this is an awful large swath of area and land. Now, I don't care who you are. You can have all the police and all the, emergency vehicles in the city that you want in New York. But if this happens while people are out in the cities celebrating the New Year's, then you're looking at well over 1 million people being in the way of that. And that's 1 million people that don't even belong in the city. That's not the millions of people that are already in the city. The path of destruction caused by the wave would be as follows. African nations of the Western Sahara would be hit first by waves of 330 feet, followed by Southern Europe, then Northern France, Ireland, and the UK. The eastern seaboard of the United States would be hit within 7 to 8 hours of the event, causing widespread devastation. I thought I was off a little bit. It says 6 hours here, but 7, 8. All right. A wave making landfall at the height of up to 200 feet would hit the metropolis of Boston and New York. Then the tsunami would travel south along the coast, taking out beachside communities all the way to Miami and the Florida Keys. According to Dr. Simon Day of the Benfield Gregg Hazards Research Center, it is not a question of if this happens, but when. Guys, I believe that today, in all of the study that I did, that I followed the telegraph down to the day. Explaining the telegraph, again, is so hard for me, and I end up seeming to go in 50 different directions with it. So you can travel over to that video and watch how I got there. I'm not going to explain it, but I'm sure we got there. I know they have a target date. And at this point, there were some articles that came out that showed me, yes, they were actually talking about this day. In Tyskowitz, after I broke down the entire sequence, I found out in the telegraph, through the telegraphs, there was a change of plans. So the telegraph told me change of plans. So I said, okay. I was reading for the different telegraphs, and I found Tyskowitz. Tyskowitz was a part of Wilhelm, and it told me that this was the revision of the plan. So I took and I broke down Tyskowitz. Okay. And it gave me all these different attributes. Told me, there's surf zones, Switzerland, China, all these different attributes. Well, it just so happened that a tweet went out of, I thought I saved it, but I didn't. It just so happens a tweet went out by Trump that he retweeted something that was by Surfer Mom 77, excuse me. And it was a whistleblower. He was talking about exposing the whistleblower. Well, it just so happens that Surfer Mom 77, the name of the person was Sophia. And there was a little bit more to it than that, too. I'm going to my home if it takes me. All right. When I looked it up, Surfer Mom 77 didn't even exist. It says we can see here. I screenshot it. Hey, one last chance. Good of you to join. So, Surfer Mom 77, the account doesn't even exist. So here it is. We've got this article, right? I'll show you the article really quick so you know. That they're saying they're going to expose this whistleblower. And, man, what do you mean expose the whistleblower? There was pictures that we're talking about that was taken down. And then on top of it, not only was Sophia, I was talking about wisdom. I'll just show you. Sophia, sorry guys, let me get my head on my shoulders. I've actually been recording most of the day. So get my head off my shoulders. Just before midnight, Friday, Trump retweeted a message from Twitter using Surfer Mom 77, an account that claims to be a woman named Sophia who lives in California. The account shows some indications of automation, including an unusually high amount of activity and profile pictures featuring stock images from the internet. So this stock images from the internet and Sophia from California. Well, I decided, let me look up Sophia. What does Sophia mean? And in Greek, it means wisdom. Then it means holy wisdom. Means wisdom in Greek. This was the name of an early, probable mythical saint who died of grief after her 3 daughters were martyred during the reign of the Emperor Hadrian. Legends about her probably arose as a result of a medieval misunderstanding of the phrase Hagia Sophia, holy wisdom, which is the name of a large basilica in Constantinople. Well, I had months ago, many months ago, talked about the connection because John Fum's mysterious directions point out a connection with the Catholic Church. Actually, so much so that the name Don Constantino Bartolomeo Streff Olo Fidge Gornerism Fund. I decided to look up Don Constantino Bartolomeo, and it connects to an archbishop, Bartholomew I of Constantinople. So when I brought this up, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Surfer Mom? We know that there's a big tsunami they've been talking about and have actually stated was going to happen. Prophecy all over the place. Movies showing it everywhere. So a tsunami creates waves, right? And what do surfers do? So we can see that wisdom is something we can derive from this because of the name Sophia. And what kind of wisdom would that be? Wisdom about a tsunami. Now, what's more interesting about this is as I followed this name, I noticed that Sophia was posted in here July 30th, 2019. I always have to hit back on this and it takes a while to load, so I'm not going to. But this picture image here shows us that this is on July 30th, 2019. This is Sophia on Twitter. President Trump, the federal government has sent. Okay. 7 and 7 is 5, by the way. 14, which is 5. Can be a signal. Surfer Mom is a signal. Because they leave only bits and pieces of their information in many different places. All right, you got to search. Today I spent 5 hours doing that. I've spent thousands of hours doing it, and I know basically what the contents of this entire cipher is. And in doing so, I found, which this is just absolutely mind-blowing, this number, all right, that is connected. Oh, let me back up. So I'm going to play this for you guys. Some of you guys probably haven't seen this. So for those who haven't seen it, I might as well let you see it. Hey, John. Hey, here I am. Yay. Okay. Now, what's important here is there's numbers on them. One of the runners is wearing 239. Another one of the runners is wearing 223. These are numbers that's a part of the sequence that I've been following as well.
Message.
This right here, 1815 on Wednesday, 27th April, 1815 is actually 9-6. Right here, it says 69% in the battery. So it's, and then up here, it has a 2 and a 0. The EN number associated to this is 0113229969969. All right. Now, because of this, the 2, it would be 6996. It's the same. This also says floatus. That's really float the U.S. And it's straight up mockery.
Very amazing. So you like to watch it together?
Yes.
Let's have a look.
Prince Harry, remember when you told us to bring it at the Invictus Games?
You see that man right there? Yeah, okay. Thought so.
Careful what you wish for.
Got to keep that chin down.
Really? Please.
So,
I mean, of all things, guys, why didn't they just tell the truth? Of course, because Satan's a liar. That's why. That's all I'm pointing out. I don't want to disrespect nobody. You know, I'd show them love and everything, but hey, I wasn't the one who lied about it. So in the clip, we find I am, which is printed on the booklet in Harry's hands. Guys, that's mockery. It's straight up mockery. Like I said, the runners, they have numbers on them, 223, 239. Also, we see 18 and 15 on Flotus. Well, what's interesting about this 1815 is the connection I made with the World Bank. And it came to us via safer, more reliable water. Water is what you need to create tsunamis, guys. Right here. Uh-oh. What happened to it? It was just right there. Okay. I guess it clicked on something. Right here. It was published on the 18th of December, 2019. And it approves $15 million project. 1815. I know a lot of people would say, you're reaching. No, I'm not, dagnabbit. They make it look like seamless. You know, they put it right in front of your face. They say, how do you hide a message in plain sight? This is how you hide a message in plain sight. Nobody in a million years would think, oh, wait, that's published on 18th of December, 2019, and it's talking about a $15 million project. So, whoa, that's a 5x5. No way. That's like the most insane, craziest thing anyone would ever think. If you came to me and told me that, I would say you're nuts. You've absolutely lost it. Well, the only reason why I'm bringing it to you guys is because, well, I learned it that way. It is absolutely nuts. It's absolutely seamless. It's perfect. It's ingenious. You would never pick it out in a million years. We came down and read on through, found out that it had been given, it was a fund with the U.S. $1.49 million in contributions. It had 4163. I had $149 million in contributions. And it had a cost of US $58.12. Well, I added these numbers together, and it brought me to, well, and I didn't find it this way, as a matter of fact. I found it a completely different way. but all of that is on the other one, and I'm not going to point it out in here either, but I found it in here. It matches it perfectly. The numbers, everything match up to a T. 1 dead, 2 injured in crash on SH3 near PLPO. It's 1 person has died and 3 others are seriously injured after a crash on State Highway 3 in Waitomo this morning. Emergency services were at the scenes of the crash, which happened at 6:15 a.m. near the intersection of Mango Kauai Road at Papio. Earlier, police said 3 people were seriously injured. Since then, 1 person has died. Police said the road was blocked and diversions were in place. The road had reopened by about 2 p.m., and police were thanking motorists for their patience. The first and the very last number equals, it's either 133 or it's 313, something like that, but it's the exact sequence here. It's 3, 1 person, 3 and 3, and I believe it's 331. As a matter of fact, that's what it is. It's 331. And if here it is. No, it's 133, 58, 12, and 4163. 4163 is 5, which is a signal. 149, which is the second number, is 5, which is a signal. 5 by 5. And then the number 5812 is 133. Well, 1 person has died and 3 others are seriously injured on State Highway 3. That's 133. This was a signal, guys. Someone that works in cryptology that could decrypt these messages sent someone on these wild goose chases to be able to decrypt these messages. Me, myself, I learned them because they tried to kill me a couple times. And this is what I learned. I learned how to read their language. I learned how to understand what they were talking about, even when they were not making sense. Okay. And because of my learning, I learned a little bit more about their language. We're talked about this language. It's an ancient, in Jeremiah 5:15, it says, "Lo, I will send upon you an ancient nation with an ancient language, one that you know not." And I don't know their language fully, but I do know their language to a really large degree. So I know that it would seem like, whoa, there's no way. Listen, I'll tell you why there is a way. This name that I pulled out of another article that ended up being the revision of the plan. This is the revision of the plan name. Came out of an article, told me this was what we were going to follow. Tyskowitz is the name. Tyskowitz. Well, check it out. It says surf zone. Well, let me ask you something. What's Surfer Mom 77? Could we relate Surfer Mom 77 to surf zone? Okay. Couple other interesting facts out of here. There's the Railway of Slovenia. Then we have counterintelligence. So we know there's some intelligence. Competitive intelligence. There's also continuous integration. So all my jumping around here, all these different places that I'm jumping to, from this place to this place to this place, it's continuous integration. It's continually being integrated into one another so that it's seamless. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. We have locations like Chile, we have Canary Islands, we have the Cayman Islands, we have Kangaroo Islands. We also have Central Indiana right here. So we have Central Indiana, we have some intelligence, and then we have surfers all put together. Okay, let's go back here. Did I do something wrong? Yeah, I forgot what I named it. I didn't say I was all the way there. All right. So we have Surfer Mom right here. Surfer Mom. And they're saying it's wisdom. So you can find wisdom right now during this period in time around Surfer Mom and Trump. Okay. So I went searching for that wisdom. Where can we get this wisdom? And is it concerning the tsunami? These were my questions. So I started looking up the articles and I came up with Alexander Kane. She was wearing a green bikini in the Canary Islands. What is green representative of? Well, I'll show you the picture. Green, right, go. She was a 28-year-old, just as Sarah Bunting with Tomato Nation was, and is a pawn in the game to deliver a message. The message here seems to be go. It was posted December 27, 2019. We'll just show Alexandra here if it wants to come up. I don't want it to come up, so I'll leave you the link. No, there we go. All right, I was going to say, no, I'll just leave you the link. I'm going to shut this down. I don't want to be on here forever. Love Island star 28. She's had 2 stone weight loss in a tiny green bikini as she lived it up on the holiday in Tenerife on Friday. Well, the cryptic code told me that Canary Islands puts us in a timer state, and it would come out of the Tenerife. So all these little aspects are a part of the big overall message. So we have green, which means go. In addition to this, on the side of the boat, it's 6 to the 3rd power, which would be 666. This number 43 would be the inverse of conception. The boat fire conception had 34 people that died on the boat fire. Any responses to that, which this would be a response to it, would have the number inverse. That's where we get the 43 from. And then 18, it's a transaction number that's been a part of the plan for quite some time. In New York, it says, will the U.S. lose the universe? I didn't really have the money for that, so I didn't buy it. We're going to skip by that one. And then there was an article by the National Geographic journalist who listed the top go-to places for 2020 that appear to match the cryptic grid. The cryptic grid had a few places like Piemonte, Italy. Also has Alameda. It's a Portuguese postal code. Has a few UK locations as well, but it has Southern Africa and the Eastern Seaboard. We have Florida involved as well. Here are the top 6, according to National Geo's Best Trips 2020 destinations, with Asturias, Spain, Guizhou Province, China, Gobekli Tepe, Turkey, Maya, Guatemala, Mendoza Province, Argentina, and Abu Simbel, Egypt. Well, the top 6 locations matched my grid, so interestingly, perfect. I mean, I didn't crack the grid per se to where I could go location to location to location, but all these locations were right in about the same area. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is pretty interesting. Let me keep looking at the Canary Islands. So I started asking, could this be the list of locations that would experience the negative impact when the crap hits the fan? Part of the cipher tells us, forget the Navy, free the nukes, fun time Navy. And there's attributes next to it. See, free the nukes, fun time Navy. Companies that would be a part of it, Fujitsu Telecom Networks. Okay. But it tells us in here there's actually a tracking number, which like that 18 I was just showing you, that's a tracking number. And so is the 21. So is the 32. Top numbers, though, have always been 21, 32, and I found 4 was associated to weather. It was always associated to weather. Found it all over the place, but it's weather warfare that they're actually using too. So it's only smart that they would use that. The very one number, though, here, 0113229969969 would be the entire top. This is top. So that number on the phone, the 1816, when you add it up and you got the 69 and the 69 and then the 2 in the upper left-hand corner of the phone, that's 26996. It's the same thing, guys, as this. So it was showing a portion of this number. You have to find the rest of that portion of that number too when you're looking for the additional pieces to fit into this. Knowing that, I'm still searching and looking for all the different pieces. And I come across something even more wild. Posted December 11th and updated on the 12th, Canary Islands gets a step up in a floating wind power. And then Trump has been talking about windmills too. So I looked it up. And when I got into this article, I was kind of mind blown because they get to talking about windmills kill bald eagles. What's bald eagles, guys? It's the national bird. So knowing how they talk, I decided, whoa, wait a minute, put in bald eagles, cancer-causing bird killers, okay? Talks about, and then he goes on to say they're made in China and Germany mostly. Horrible idea. Ugly. All right, just words that I know attributes this to false smut. So I look up the birds. We see this. I even looked up all their numbers and everything. They started matching. Okay. Looked up the bald eagles. When I got to the bald eagles, my mouth hit the floor. You'll see why I wasn't far reaching. What happened to my page? Yeah, my bad. That accidentally shut me down. To go back to it. I've been on here too long today. I won't be on much longer tonight, but I suck at trying to explain things. So we follow Surfer Mom. We get ourselves over to the birds, and we find out that talking about these windmills, bald eagles, which is our national bird. And I look up the national bird, bald eagles, and I find out there's a bald eagle that was killed in Indiana. So it was posted on December 25th, 2019 at 1:19. And 119 is 911 backwards. 25 is a 5x5. It's a signal. It's 5 times 5 is 25. Okay. So the article also claims that there was one killed in Louisiana. Good Lord, I wish I'd get rid of that. That a bald eagle was killed in Louisiana too, but they went into details about the Indiana one. That was for a reason, because it met a requirement. Not only now have I put in Indiana requirement, Central Indiana, see, Central Indiana, but we've also included China, we've included Germany, and we do this just by the rhetoric, because he was talking about they're sold out of Germany and China. All these words are important. You have to satisfy a need in order to understand their plan. This was the entire name of the plan, Tyskowitz. Okay. Let's say nothing happens tomorrow night and the Canary Islands do not blow. That would be a blessing because I'm praying for that. I don't want them to blow. I don't want people to get hurt. I want people to enjoy their lives, you know? But at this point, it doesn't look so good because the 133 that I connected, it's a 33rd Freemason number that came directly out of the World Bank's article. See? World Bank approves U.S. $15 million project to strengthen South Tarara water supply. It's a report from the World Bank. I asked this question before. Who owns the global debt? Does anyone know who owns the global debt? Who do you pay the global debt to? What one person gets that? I'll tell you, Satan, the guy who met the Messiah on the hill. Pretty interesting when you think about it. It says, let not them who wink with their eye and stick out their tongue, or let them not wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. If these guys that are winking their eyes and sticking out their tongues are doing this because the spirit that dwells in their body, that means that they are under the control of the prince of the power of the air. This puts a whole new perspective on everything, doesn't it, guys? Kind of makes you look at things like, what in the heck was she saying? I'll re-explain this. I have been following a set of plans that came out of a book called The Marvelous Underground Journey of Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bolger. There were 2 of these books. The first book is not even recorded anywhere, but it is mentioned in the second book. Okay. The first book is not recorded anywhere, but is mentioned in the second book. When I turn the names around to the characters that were in that book, guess what, guys? They matched up to the first emergency number event. How wild is that? So, then, not only does it match up to the first emergency number event, but we know we have a prophet that is telling us that there is an event coming on our shores. Let's look at what this prophet says. Let me show you guys this really quick. You need to know this. This is important. All the rhetoric I've been talking about on this blog, it's all come to pass. It's all coming together too, and it has finally come together. They have a name date. Let's take a look at this.
I want you to understand, I've put this video up before and it's been taken down by YouTube. They took it down because I know what it's about. I know what it's telegraphing. By the way, this video that you're going to watch is really a template. You buy the template and then you plug in what you want to plug into the video. So whoever bought this and plugged in these parts, they knew exactly what's up. This guy right here, this is Adam Weishaupt. Okay, the founder of the Illuminati. You see the number up here, 23 right there? 23.
Hey, you know what? I'm just noticing that the number 23 was also, it's been associated to the text the entire time. The big E32, the 32-ton big E. I always say that backwards.
The magic number 23 chromosomes. Because there's a good U23 and a bad U23. 23 and 23, 46. That's why Barack Obama read Psalm 46, because the Twin Towers, the two, had become one. So the Twin Towers represented 23 chromosomes, seed of the serpent, 23 chromosomes, seed of the woman. And then George Bush read Psalm 23 at the memorial. Then Barack Obama, where there's the One World Freedom Tower, where the two had become one, read Psalm 46, because that would be the number you get when you add 23 and 23. Twin towers becoming one tower, 46. Notice here the number 23 is backwards. Y'all remember the avocados from Mexico commercial I showed you? The number 23 at the 23-second mark of the video. Half and half paradigm. Okay, now right here, everything's backwards. Everything's written backwards. This is Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, the modern day Illuminati. Now this video that I'm going to show you, this thing right here, this was first done in 2013, I believe, okay? And I broke it down and I showed everybody the parts that were plugged in, and YouTube took down my version. They left everybody else's versions up that I saw, but they took mine down. And once I publish this video, put it on your hard drive. Okay, this is the New York Post, and this was sent to me by a friend of mine, Dave, November 7th, 2017.
Really quick, I got to make sure they're not going to get me for copyright or anything. They would have alerted me if so by now, and I want to make sure. Okay, I have to be 110% positive because I know his isn't copyrighted, but okay.
Stairwell closed. Okay, this is cryptic. I got this email today, and we're gonna watch this little video first. Doors are closing. I notice this. You see those two big X's? Female chromosome is double X right there, 2X. Now, is that significant to the video? Well, the whole system, just like I've shown you, the Statue of Liberty, the mother goddess above ground system, host body system, let's call it that. The host body system is ruled over by this, the 2X's, female mother goddess. And look, they're shutting this big door. The New York subway system is getting ready for the next Hurricane Sandy. I don't know, that's weird. It's on November 7th, 2017. That's odd. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority is installing massive 25-ton floodgates and other state-of-the-art measures to protect New York City's train and vehicle tunnels. In 2012, the salt water obviously got in there, messed things up. But this is November 7th, 2017, because this is a message. I saw this, Dave sent this to me yesterday, and today I don't go to Starbucks, folks. I just don't go there anymore. I happened to stop in. I was talking to a friend on the phone.
I'm going to go ahead and pause it there. I want you guys to watch this on your own, because I really would appreciate if you guys watched even more of his material. He has the truth. He's an awesome teacher. He's teaching the Holy Spirit message. And this chilling New York City preview is exactly the reason why I'm talking. I came into possession of their plan, but it was in a cryptic form. So I spent the last year and a half deciphering this form. And the only way that I was able to come to the knowledge of what this was, again, because of the way I was living, I decided to tell my testimony and talk to you guys out front because of the urgency of this message. We are living in the very last of the last days. And, we are living on borrowed time at this point. And I think it's really important for everyone to understand the day and the hour in which we're living in. We have had a full disclosure of information. I have people who follow me in my friends list that I know that are still living worldly lives, that are not putting, the Most High first or putting God first in their life. And he's a very jealous God. And he says he wants to be honored and loved with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. I used to be a hypocrite. I used to claim that I was serving God, and yet I was living contrary to the word. And ever since I've cleaned up my life and I've changed and given it all to Him and said, I will serve you. Forgive me for the things that I've done. In the process of me doing that, I was given answers about my testimony, and it came through this book. It came through the book. I'm a targeted individual. I experience all sorts of, I experience all sorts of, you know, things that are my cough. I need something for my cough. Yes, here I am. You're right. No, I'm not drinking apple cider, but I do have some. And I do apologize because it is kind of bad. The chemtrails, the chemtrails that were being sprayed, those aerosol injections, these nefarious things that are going on in the world and nobody's talking about is something that I found because I'm targeted. It was an experience that I had for the last 42 years of my life. I've been targeted, and I didn't know it until recently that there were other people that were like me, people from all walks of life in all four corners of the world. And it's mainly in the UK, the US, and in Germany that these activities, these nefarious things are happening, but they're happening. They are hitting people with directed weapons. They use radiation techniques through their directed energy weapons. They use people to stalk, monitor, and harass me. They do it online. They do it in public. They've turned people against me. They've offered people money to do things to me on multiple occasions. And through this process, I learned a lot about myself and my walk and just situations, life's everyday life things that we all deal with. Every one of us have something going on in our lives. And we can either edify it or we can ignore it. I choose at this point to edify the fact that I was living very ignorantly only because I know He's a forgiving God. So I decided, let me tell everybody about me being targeted. Let me tell everyone that, my own brother has betrayed me. Let me tell everyone that I'm trying to live right and trying to, get my life together. I thought to myself, well, that's just awful freaking crazy. That's nuts. Let me look at you guys real quick. That's nuts. And get in here and I'll just look at you. So I said, I can't do that. I can't tell everybody that. That's crazy. I'm not going to tell everyone my testimony. And then I read Revelations 12:11. It says, then they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, for they loved not their lives unto the death. And I decided, oh my gosh, I want to overcome. That's what I wanted the most in the world. I wanted to overcome. So I decided to use YouTube as a platform to overcome. I was putting all my crap out there that I couldn't handle and deal with, and I wasn't even comfortable in my own skin. And I'm Scarface, I got all kinds of issues. Side of my face had been beat so bad on one side of my face. It doesn't even, this side doesn't even move like this side of my face because I've been hitting it awful serious. And it caused that. I might have even been a stroke, who knows? And I don't know. Truth of the matter is, all this boiled down to me coming into possession of this book. And as scary as this has been, and it's been pretty scary, guys, I said, I can't not do this. I have to do it. I want to overcome. So, all right, we get down to this day. There's this rhetoric about New Year's and all kinds of stuff. And do I know if it's going to happen? I don't know. I do know I've been in this plan for a year and a half. And because of me being targeted, they've tried to kill me a couple times every year since December 2013. This is the first year I've been through without a couple attempts on my life in 5 years. So every time I managed to escape. There was one time I was actually in the middle of I had went to jail. They tried to shoot me one weekend. And I seen the gun come out of the car and I was like, oh my gosh. And a white car came out of nowhere. And it gave me enough time to jump onto a trash can, jump onto a fence, and I jumped 30 feet into the LA wash and I broke my ankle. Well, I crawled into the hole on the side of the LA wash, and it was just a big old basin hole. And I crawled into it because I was hiding from the gunman. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's got to be rats and all kinds of stuff. So I got really scared. It's like, what do I do? A group of people started come through. So I was like, oh, there's people. So I come out of the hole. I was like, help me. I broke my ankle. I broke my ankle. So I end up getting hoisted out of there. And while I'm in the hospital, they're saying, sorry, guys. While I'm in the hospital, they say, call her next to kin. So I'm like, my next of kin? Dang. My next of kin, I'm not dead. So I thought it was pretty strange, that was going on. I thought, am I really going through this situation? And a lady of color that was in a doctor's suit, she come walking in, and the Holy Spirit told me to start speaking. So I said, my name is Carmen Rivera. My name's Carmen Rivera Long. If you see me in a paper, I was like, please, I broke my ankle. If you see me in the paper, would you do, these guys, they all had something to do with killing me. And I was just screaming it out loud. Look for me in the paper. I broke my right ankle. And all these people in here have something to do. If I end up dead, they've all got something to do with it. Even that guy down there that tried to shoot me. Because the guy who tried to shoot me was in the hospital. He was there. Mind blowing. He's there in the hospital talking to the cops. So I'm like, what in the heck? And I realize I'm in a really bad situation. Obviously, I'm going to die. This is it for me. I'm not going to make it. Hey, I'm recording. And so forgive me. I hate when I get interrupted and I have no idea why he's huffing and puffing. So it's kind of blowing me on track. So, all right. So I'm in the hospital, and can you please? I'm in the hospital. Yeah. I hope you feel better. I really do. But I'm trying to keep on track, and I'm on a one-track mind. All right, so they're talking about the next of kin. I'm noticing the gunman's down there talking to the police. I'm thinking, oh, this is it. I'm dead. They decide, okay, we're taking you to jail. They put me in the back of the police car. I get into the back of the police car, and we're driving up the highway. And I'm talking to the officer. I'm like, how could you guys do this? I said, you guys are supposed to serve the community, and you guys really seriously? I'm like, I'm mind blown. How could you do this? The officer answers me and says, you got to make money somehow. And wow. So we're driving down the highway, and the black car that was going to shoot the guy that was going to shoot me, which was a black dude, he was in a black car. He's sitting on the side of the highway in his Charger, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're getting ready to drop me off where this guy is sitting right there in the highway. He had a gun. He was going to shoot me just an hour and a half before. So I end up, the phone rings, and he's like, he's on the phone for a second. We get by the car, and he like, as soon as we're driving past, literally, and and the other officer that's in the passenger side, he looks at him. He looks at him like, what the hell, man? He's the guy who told me we all got to make money somehow. So he looks at him like, what the hell, man? And guy's on the phone. And as soon as we're driving past, he hangs up the phone and he says, mission abort. And I'm like, I knew something in the Holy Spirit had told me, you're going to get through this. And he told me, I'm showing you something. Okay. I was scared out of my doggone mind, guys. I was so scared. I'm so scared that right now I'm shaking in my boots remembering it. Okay. That's how scared I was. And, well, I get to the freaking jail. I tell them that I want to sell to myself because the officer's like, have fun in there. And I just knew that something wasn't going to end up right. So I said, I broke my ankle. They didn't even give me a Tylenol, you guys, at the hospital. Didn't give me a Tylenol. I had a leg like this large. I mean, it was so swollen. And I had bruised myself all the way up to, you can see the bruise at this point, all the way up to my hip. I didn't even have a Tylenol. The doctor, the physician at the jail says, you didn't get anything when you were in there? I was like, no, please give me a Tylenol. He goes, they didn't give you anything at all? I'm like, no. I told him, I said, they tried to set me up is what they tried to do. And then I told the jailer, the lady, I said, please do me a favor. They tried to set me up. I was like, I broke my ankle. I won't stand a chance in population. Put me in a cell to myself. I said, I don't care if you give me padded walls, a floor and next to a toilet, whatever. Don't put me in a room with people. I broke my ankle. I was, no way. So they did. They put me in a room to myself, and I stayed in there for a few days. And I was so happy I was in jail. I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I was out in the streets at this time. And I got out. There was this girl that she was in the jail. She got out the same time. She asked me when we got out, I'm on my crutches. It's the first time I've ever really walked in crutches, And she says, hey, do you want to come by my house? And I said, well, sure, I can get a ride from your house. So I went with her. I fell asleep. I had called my son, asked him to come get me, and he told me he would. So I fell asleep. I wake up, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I call my son, and he's not answering the phone. So I'm like, oh, shit. I'm there. There's a Chinese dude that, excuse my French, there's a Chinese dude that comes in, and he's like sitting next to me the whole time with golf clubs, guys. He's he's got clubs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew he'd come for me. Well, some hours go by, a couple hours or so, and people are outside, they're honking and stuff. And nobody really was doing anything. And then this guy gets up in front of me with the golf club. He goes, and he's acting like he's playing or whatever. And I look at him and I was like, you're not playing golf. And then he goes to swing it like he's going to go hit me. And my arm came out on its own. It was like the Holy Spirit just started speaking through me. And he says, I feel sorry to be you. Not only do you have to kill a female, but you gotta kill a handicapped one at that. And this guy, no crap, I still can't get the look out of my face. This guy's like this. It was something, the weirdest thing I've ever seen. He's like, so I'm like, what in the bejesus? What? So I said, okay, that was wild, obviously. But I'm sitting there thinking this ain't real because some time, like it was, I don't know, 30, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, really long time it seemed like, though. It seemed like 5 days had went by. Well, plug this in. All right. So the lady behind him, she's in the bed. She's like, hey, if you're going to do something, do it already. This guy couldn't do nothing to me. Everybody in that house was looking like, how in the heck did you leave that house? You know, this guy was a murderer. They were outside waiting on them to bring me out in a body bag, you guys. And I don't say this to be proud. There is nothing to be proud of here. I share my testimony because, one, the power of God is shown in it, and I love it. I'm like, that's awesome. It's pretty shameful that I had to listen to him tell me, hey, I got you. But all good and bad things come from him. That's all I can say. And it taught me something. It taught me about this language that they talk and have, that people don't naturally understand. You find it in trinkets of information literally spread all over the place. So, for instance, there's targeted individuals who listen to me. Being targeted, I know there are signs around you, but there's also trinkets of information that you could actually gather that would help your case. Of course, we're really at the ending of all things because it looks like, they've got some sick, sinister plans put together already. And my teaching that showed me all this stupid coding that I can't seem to explain to you guys good enough. It's like, I can't explain it. I try to write as much as I possibly can, and I think that I have a decent enough following that when I actually start talking to you guys, and I get 6 subscribers this month, or in the last 2.5, 3 weeks, right? But I've lost like 8, maybe. I gained 3 the other day and I lost 2. I'm down to 183 again. So, but they've taken so many that every time I gained a subscriber, I was losing 2 for a while. So I'd gain a subscriber and lose 2. And I could be well up over 300, but they don't even recommend me to other people, and which is fine. I'm sure I'm right in front of the people that he wanted me to be. I ain't trying to teach no large swaths or no one anything, but I am trying to say that he had told me, and I think this is a perfect time for this then, he had told me that he wanted me to bring call to repentance, I guess you could say. Those who are sacrificing their children to Baal and Molech. Those who are worshiping Baal and sacrificing their children to Molech. You're making your children pass through the fire. And it's an abomination. But what's even more an abomination is something just as small and sinister as your own sister making plans with someone else to catch you up in a situation. These are things I've dealt with. My own blood has turned their back on me and has done things to me that it's horrific. My own brother tried to offer me over. He thought he had me set up. These people, they walk past and they pull their earlobes and they touch their noses, maybe swat their shoulders like this, and it's unnoticeable. They're doing everyday activities. And what's even worse about it is they use people who are good looking and they have lots of money because they put them in nice cars, they put them in nice clothes. So these people look like they're winning. But I think people are proven every day that these people are losing. They look like they're winning, but these people are losing. And just from the fact that I can figure out, these plans, that I can follow a telegraph, whether I figured it out or not, I still can follow it. I didn't go to school for this. People get training for this. They go to school for this. I can't explain it just yet 110% with, ease like that, but it's a military code. It's something that I was learning over the course of this time. Now, if someone as simple as me, a targeted individual, can follow a telegraph and find a signal and all this, and prove that these things connect, kind of says you have no cloak to hide behind, doesn't it? That's funny too, because that means the hunters have become the hunted. Yeah, that's what that means. I know that we're at a day and an hour where everything has come out in the light. And it's pretty sad that someone like me can sit here and pick out signals that are in telegraphs and that would sit here and tell people this. I don't have no reason to lie to you people as a people. All right. There's no reason for me to get on here and tell any fabulous stories like this. Outside of the fact that, maybe I can get someone to read their Bible a little bit more, Just get in there. Power of God is real. Judgment is about to fall on this nation. If you have been sinning your butt off, well, you better be scared because he's a coming for you. I was just being funny, guys. So, all right. Yeah, let's take a look at some other stuff because, so like I was saying, my testimony, it just matches up. And because I learned this stuff and was given this tool, it's a little bizarre. Let's read this and I'm gonna let you guys go. It's a little bizarre, to say the least. Because, it's taken me. Because when I take a number, 133, connect it to another number, 133, 1815, that number 1815 then connects to the queen saying boom. All seems far-fetched. But just like this ball on this New Year's Eve, it's all intertwined. It's all interconnected. And this blog right here has the entire book's structure and explanations in the names. All you have to do is look up the names and you can see in what area what is going on. So the work's been done for you. Ohio is going to experience biowarfare to a huge degree. Utah will. Minnesota will. The cattle, the deer, your cats and dogs will contract these diseases. They are mutating diseases. The biowarfare has been released for quite some time now, too. So their waterways have already been poisoned. This is already well underway. We're 3 years into this plan. Huge. War centered around Ireland, Brazil, Alps, Maritime. Well, the plan, in another word, said all before. So all these things needed to be done before they planned war. There was the airborne mapping. Did the Muff report listed to it. There was launch support team. That's aerospace. The launch support team is listed to an ASA, Urban Observatory. These urban observatories are actually who's carrying out all of the targeted individuals' deeds. If you want to know who's targeting you, go to your local neighborhood associations. That's who's targeting you. All of these are interconnected with your local UPS, USPS. They're also connected, depends on what area you're in. They're also connected to your water departments, your electric department. They're part of the entire structure. Look, concrete barricades all down Route 32, the digging out of our creeks here, and a lot of electrical wire workers, yes. German Working Party is going to be the ones that's declaring this so-called war. But what is not being declared, they're not coming out and saying exactly how they're working together. They're functionally operating in a unified manner that has been put together via a plan. In this video, it talked about Adam Weishaupt. I provided the link for that. One of the most interesting aspects of this text was they said Little Baron was a real boy. You guys, I looked it up and I was like, wait a minute, Little Baron is a real boy. Baron Trump, attached to the name Bonder Trump. The name Bonder Trump was connected to a King Coeur d'Lion. That was in the first book. Remember, I said there's 2 books. It was in the first book. So I looked it up. What do you know? That Bonder Trump name, you could find it all the way up until the early 1700s. And you can do a search of this yourself, but you can find it up to the early 1700s, like 1726 or something like that, 1725, 1723, something like that. And then the name drops off. The Bonder Trump changed from Bonder Trump to Von Trump to Von Trump. And then it dropped off. And then in the 1800s, this name Trump appears. And Trump says, you guys can look this up, but you can't look up his genealogy before the 1800s. Why? Pretty interesting that this guy's a billionaire and I can get on and look for my genealogy report, but this guy, he can't? I mean, come on. So they say there's something wrong with the records. This guy's from billions of dollars. I doubt that's the case. What does seem feasible is the location in which these names dropped off. The Von der Trump name dropped off around Bavaria. And the Trump name picks up around Bavaria. So here we are with these 2 names
There's his genealogy.
Hey, would you not do that?
What?
I'm just recording now.
Whatever. Agreeing with you.
I guess it's in. I don't know. I'm not
It's
used
not
to
even
that.
interrupting you.
Yeah, I know.
So what the hell else am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I don't hear much other people's. Just I don't know.
Yeah. Trying to compromise.
That would be to respect what I'm doing.
That's what I'm doing is compromising.
All
Instead
right.
of trying to freaking argue or something, I'm trying to just.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I asked him. I was like, "What? Is there something wrong?" And every time I start doing a video, he has to be extremely loud, or has to talk. And I don't understand that because, it's respectful that while I'm talking to you guys, that it would be just me talking to you, right? But this isn't just once or anything like that. So this is why I'm addressing it now since we're on live. I might as well go ahead and address it and bring it up. When he's not talking, when I'm not on live, he's sleeping, saying absolutely nothing, doesn't even talk. But when I'm on live, he talks. And it's like, seriously? What's going on here? Oh, I'm wondering. It kind of seems like, really? You've been when have we talked outside of when you were here?
You've been on all day.
Yeah. Right. But when did we talk yesterday when I wasn't on all
I
day?
don't freaking know.
We didn't at all because you
I was
slept
asleep
all
all
day.
day.
Right. There you go. So don't lie and say I'm a liar.
I don't know what
That's
you're talking
that's about the second time you've called me a liar, and I'm telling the truth.
I don't know what you're talking
So
about. If I was
that's
sleeping all
pretty
day, I was sleeping all day.
gangstalkerish. That's pretty gangstalkerish. You guys noticed that? I had to call it out because I actually got tired of it. And I'm noticing that he's got some TI tendencies. Like he likes to do the gang stalkering things where you want to interrupt and do things during a time that's not conducive to try to cause friction, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, all right. I still love them. I love you guys. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day because we've been on here a little bit longer than what I wanted. And I have been on for quite some time. I'm just going to sum up what I was saying. These guys, NASA is at the top of it. They've been at the top of it. It just so happened to be that I was connected to one of these guys, Don Ashford, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He had a lot to do with my targeting. And I think you guys are looking at me here. Yes. Okay. Awesome. I was thinking maybe I might have switched it back over, but he had a lot to do with this targeting. Ever since he came into my life 10 years ago, things started going extremely crazy. Money came up missing. People were breaking into my house. There was someone who touched me, for crying out loud, in my house and said, boo, and I didn't see him. Come to find out, these guys use invisible cloaks. So they think that nobody sees them. They believe that they're getting away with whatever they're doing. Well, like I said, that's kind of funny because if you were getting away with it, I wouldn't be able to read everything that you guys are doing. Right. So anyways, targeted individuals, your local associations, your USPS, UPS, you name it. I was going to go in the other room because I heard him talking and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Let me lay my computer back down. But it is a very integrated system. And when I say it is a very integrated system. Let me rephrase my English there. It is a very, it's like invisible. You can't see it with the naked eye. You have to pay attention to detail. Understand your surroundings, just like I pay attention to detail here. I don't try to have fusses with anyone. People have fusses with me, but I stay to myself. I know how to act, And when I catch little things like this, which he hasn't talked to me, I wasn't on live yesterday, and he didn't talk to me at all. The day before, he didn't either. And then now he feels like he has to. I told him, why don't you come join me and sit right here? Because if he wants to talk, that's awesome. Talk. I don't mind him talking, you know, but just come sit here so everybody else can hear you talking too and see you. Don't rudely, go elsewhere. He didn't do that. So, anyways, you say, I'm going to see what you guys are talking in here. Y'all got some bad Aaron Orion. You're not lying here. I am. I sure did. Stony Stone, you got just about the same story. Yeah. Well, that's what happens with targeted individuals. Oh, yeah. Hold on. That's what I needed to get back to. I got a little thrown off. Before I let you go, we'll spend about 3 or 4 minutes going over this real quick. You're right about that, Darlene. Ebola. Trying to play it off as the measles? Oh my gosh. Both have a rash. By the time you figure out it's not measles, it's too late. Well, good golly, Miss Molly. Michael, yeah, you said narcissist behavior. Yeah, that does happen. Most definitely.
Oh, good God. Stop
Love you.
lying.
Always pray for you. I love you too, brother. I appreciate that.
Talking about it.
So,
Seriously,
So,
especially if it's not even close to real. That's really, really, really pathetic.
okay. I wasn't talking about him. You mentioned it and I just read your comment. That's all. So,
You are
anyways.
mentioning it by reading.
Well, I can read your comments.
My comments?
I wouldn't read your comment. I was reading Michael's comment. He said in the comments, he says, I've been noticing his behavior. This is what I do at work. Narcissist behavior.
Narcissist behavior. Right.
That's what he said.
Sure.
So, anyways,
What the hell ever.
there was one last thing. Like I said, Canary Islands, we should be looking at this. We'll see something. You guys, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it in the air. It's like I can feel it in the air. And I think I'm done talking about these directions from here out. You know, I want to let it go now. I think it's all part of the past. I wanted to tell my testimony. I wanted to be able to do it freely. I've actually gained back my freedom. I feel more alive than I was before. And I'm on fire though for the Lord. And I want to delve into my Bible and just stay in my Bible. That's how it's been, for months. But your neighborhood associations, your local UPS, your local water companies, electric companies, gas companies, they all work in unison with these people because they're owned by them. They operate by the banks. Our governments and local communities are operated by corporations. People will sell their soul for $5, and we need to stop this. We need more love in the world, where we love one another, love each other to the point where we're building each other up and, looking out for our neighbors. If our neighbors are experiencing some sort of, issues, you don't go and attack them, guys. You ask, hey, how can I help you? So that's first and foremost. Surfer Mom 77. The bald eagle that went down. Let's look this up. See what's in the news real quick. Hold on. I didn't even know I was going to tell my whole doggone testimony, but I guess I did. I must have needed to get that one out. Praise the Lord. Wow, thanks for y'all joining me. Surf Zone led me all the way to the Bald Eagles. The Bald Eagles let me know that we're right here at the Canary Islands. Right here. Now this CARE, International Global Humanitarian Organization. Check this out, guys. I'll show you what this is. The organization, their CARE organization, has to do with this. 24 migrants, over 200 migrants. The articles end up telling us that there is about 60,000 migrants that they've taken over to the islands. You know why the CARE organization took all the migrants over to the islands? Because they knew the islands was going to experience a negative impact. Posted at 10:47, December 2nd, 2019. Beachgoers at Aguila Beach of Gran Canaria in Spain's Canary Islands helped 24 migrants who landed there after arriving in a small boat on Friday. The vessel was carrying migrants from northern and sub-Saharan Africa. This article, the Sub-Sahara, was listed in accounts. Let me look at the title. Forgive me. How the Sahara was born was one of the articles that I read. That was when you got me the thing for Mike Alexander Kane. These are all about Canary Islands, which this seems to be the go. She was the one wearing green. Okay. New York Times, will the U.S. lose the universe? The Canary Islands has also connected to the article about National Geographic, which is National Geo's Best Trips 2020 destinations. All these seem to be the negative impact areas on my map in the cipher too. There's also additional ones in here. You guys can find it at this link. I'll leave the link here and it gives the locations. Read through it. Might I also add, they were on this blog plane. So there's a repeat of the SZ. I'll show you. SZCI. Check this out. So never mind the repeat. IK, YT, C, SZ. They do that to me from time to time. It's in there twice. So what? Just don't, there's no real locations except for the Gina and these right here. You just don't write down the duplicate ones. I mean, it's just that simple. I'm not going to go back and fix it now. We have Kiribati. This is where the World Bank letter came out of. This letter here. Oh. Right here. So Washington, D.C., the Post, look, safer, more reliable water, Kiribati. This had the 1815, which was found on the Queen's phone. And at the end, it has these numbers right here. Boom. Boom. that equal, oops, the number in the first line of this paragraph. One person has died and 3 others are seriously injured after a crash on State Highway 3 in Waito Mall this morning. Not sure. But at the end of the day, we came to a decision that they're pointing from these articles to December 31st. Could I be incorrect? I sure could. I don't know exactly when. I don't know, but I know what's next. And it's the Canary Islands and it's the East Coast. And it looks as if it could be on New Year's. And this is why I believe it could be on New Year's, for sure. Without a pact. It's this. This 2-minute and 49-second message.
Readout of the call on Sunday. The White House didn't issue a readout until today and didn't say much.
This is all about Vladimir Putin shaping the narrative of the U.S.-Russian relationship. At his end of year
What?
Press conference, his 4.5-hour conference, he was using the exact same words that President Trump was using to describe the impeachment inquiry, the witch hunt.
He was using the exact same words.
Putin's grand invitation is for Trump to attend the Victory Day celebration in Moscow
E pluribus unum. Look at the 9-9.
in May, marking the 75th anniversary of the Allies' World War II victory over Nazi Germany. Trump previously said he'd be interested in going.
It's a very big deal.
Very big deal.
Celebrating the end of the war.
And look why it says November 8th.
So I appreciate the invitation. So I'll see if I can do it. But I would love to go if I could.
Analysts are concerned.
November 8th. Why would it say November 8th? And it just came out on December 30th.
Tonight about the possible optics of President Trump admiring Russian military hardware on parade.
Given the fact that we know Russia is already actively trying to interfere in the 2020 election, we know for sure they interfered to a fairly well in the 2016 and the 2018 midterms. So
They want to carry this line on.
is it appropriate for the president?
What's going on?
President to go now, given all that context? And I would say no, it's not.
And Putin continues to flex his military muscle tonight. Russian state media says its new hypersonic missile, known as Avant-Garde, has been placed into combat duty. Putin says the missile can fly about a mile per second.
The real challenge posed by the Avant-Garde
5:52 p.m. That's a
is the
5x5
speed at which it
in
moves
both ways.
and the fact that it's maneuverable and also difficult to detect. And so you have something coming in very fast that's able to evade defenses that you.
Even the 252 is. And there's the date 143 and then 17. Looks like 143, right? The Dow
may
or
not know about until the
DCW.
last minute, and that really poses a certain, a very real challenge for U.S. defenses.
No.
Avant-Garde was part of a plan for sophisticated new weapons that Putin unveiled last.
Yeah. See, that's a 50 and that's 52. It's really blurry. Let's make it full screen. Even the numbers the entire time. And look at this is actually 249. I thought it was 239. My bad. I was going to just say, oh, that's the same number on the guy that was running, but it's not. He was 239, not 249. And that's a little too blurry. I can't tell if that is 50 and 52. So I'm not even going to say.
year, including an underwater drone that could carry a nuclear warhead from a submarine.
President Putin, thank you very much.
But tonight there are broader concerns about the Trump-Putin relationship, not only because of Putin's attempts to interfere in America's elections in 2016 and 2018, and warnings about what he'll do in the next election. The Washington Post reporting that Trump believed
Helsinki. That's what they're waiting on. They're trying to open up the pit, guys. These guys are working in unison to open up the pit. All you guys who have been working with these guys have fooled yourselves.
false narrative Putin was pushing, that Ukraine was behind the...
Because now you're hunted. Judgment will be served. We will be recompensed here in American soil. And Father told me, anyone who said that nothing would happen is, they're going to eat their words, basically, because people are saying God won't do good and he won't do bad. And that's not the truth. So stop fooling yourselves. Come from there. These guys, the Kremlin, talk to our president. They've got an interoperability requirement. According to the cipher, it says that there is a German-American alliance. Did you hear the lady? She said the Kremlin had the exact same words as Trump. Right, because it's a script. There's a narrative here. Adam Weishaupt developed a plan to rule and run the world then. There was a bike courier that was struck down in 1776 with lightning. And the Duke of Bavaria's soldiers had found that guy with the book and got the book, took it to the Duke and found out, well, this was plans to rule the world. So the Duke outlawed secret societies. They decided to go underground. And then since that time, they've been underground. Now they're manifested all over the place. And they're not even holding back what they're doing, guys. But at this point, what do? I don't have no money to go nowhere in America. Do you? In this class, kind of like, when you think about it, you're waiting to lift off and go home, but this would, to a non-believer, it's like telling them you got AIDS and you're going to die tomorrow. Kind of bad news for them, isn't it? All right, whatever, guys. It fits together intricately. I don't want to tell about it no more. I don't like telling about these mysterious plans. I've done the whole list. We can go over these lists, but it doesn't even matter anymore. Cincinnati, Ohio, Kings Island, they gave people sicknesses. They probably used artificial intelligence there too to help keep track of people. But I'm positive they gave a kilo binary. And I know that from, receptor affinity chemistry. Ohio, they were like poisoning the crap out of people. We got Kazan Institute or Mauritius. That was in the money. All the things are listed on the blog. Anything I haven't listed. If you want questions or anything, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. But I kind of want to get out and talk to people and share the love of God and do that instead. Anyways, because I can't explain this to you guys like that. And they're not going to let me. So, Lynn, yes. Give me a call, sweetie, and I'm going to check out. I love you guys.